Hi, shall we start or shall we wait for 2, 3 more minutes if you want to join?
We have a fairly good audience. We can get started.
Okay, yeah, just give me a minute.
People will keep on joining in sometime.
Okay, just give me a minute. Yeah. Great, yeah. So I guess we shall start. Let me share my screen and then we can eventually take it ahead. Okay, just let me know once you can see my screen actually. Is my screen visible by the way? Yeah, it's visible, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect. Sure. So I guess we shall start actually. So hello everyone. Very good morning to all of you. Right. It's my pleasure to host you here. Right. And firstly, the thing is I don't. So basically, I want this session to be interactive actually. Right. So feel free to unmute yourself and stop me or pause me at any given point and ask questions or doubts, whatever you have. Okay. Don't be shy. I mean, you have other option as well to just put it on chat, but I would prefer you to just interact with me, right? So that it would help me to understand you guys better and get the questions very clearly. Okay. So, firstly, if I talk about myself, right, and then I'm gonna create a poll as well. Okay. So let's just go with this. So basically, as of now, I'm serving as a manager analyst data science at Geo Platforms Limited, which is headquartered out of Navi Mumbai, actually. Okay. It's been a long time now. Previously, I've worked with Dunhumby. I've worked with the math company as well, right? I've worked with Reliance Industries Limited before and Hewlett Packard. NCSI as well, which was located in France. Okay. So I have, as of now, I have around 3+ years of experience in the field of data science and business analytics. I have demonstrated expertise in converting several product-based companies, um, actively contributing as a visiting faculty at NMIMS Mumbai. I'm an instructor at Bombay Stock Exchange Institute as well. I take corporate workshops for collegedeco.com, and there's one college in Dubai and Sharjah known as Exceed College. So I work as an instructor over there as well. So I'm passionate about teaching and mentoring. I have been doing it since last 3 years. To be very precise, I guess since November 2020, I have been doing that. I've guided more than 2,000 students encompassing diverse academic backgrounds such as Bachelor's of Technology, Masters of Business Administration, MBA Tech, MTech especially, MSc, BSc, Commerce and Arts, right, in the field of data science and business analytics. So I guess, yeah, that's about me. And as I've mentioned before, that I have more than 3 years of experience in the same domain. Okay. So I guess that's about me. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna share a poll with you guys now, right? So make sure that you should select the correct option, right, as per your thinking and what you really want. Okay. So just give me a second. I'm just creating a poll now. Okay. And I want you guys to answer because I want this session to be very interactive. Okay. We should get something out of it, both you and me both. So let me just start the poll. Just give me a second. Yes. So let me launch the poll now. Okay. So I'm launching the poll. So that once I'll click on launch, you will see an icon in your screen that okay, the poll has been launched. So I would want you guys to select the options, as per your thinking and understanding actually. Okay. So that it would help us to get to know each other really well. That's what I really want. Okay. So there will be 10 questions in total actually. So I'm going to launch them one by one. So make sure you basically answer the 10 questions. So I guess I have launched like enough questions. Let me just launch basically, a few more actually from here. Let's launch a few more. So I've launched a few more. Okay. So you can just check it and answer it appropriately and accordingly. It would help us to like have a great interaction as well at the same time, and it would help us to know each other. There would be 10 questions in total actually. Okay. Out of which I would tell you like what are the most important ones actually, for me to understand you guys better. Though each and every question is important, but the most important ones I'm gonna tell you, which would be the poll number 10, and that would be poll number 7. These two are the most important for me. The rest also are very important, but if you talk about the most important ones, then poll number 7 and poll number 10 are very important for me. And I'm gonna launch the poll number 10. Yeah. So I guess I've launched like all the polls actually, like all the questions are there in front of your screen, right? So make sure that you basically select the correct choices actually. Okay. I can wait for a minute or two. That's absolutely fine. No issues with that. But I would really want you guys to just drop your options. As I'm again saying, like each and every question is important, right? So make sure you select the right choices, especially poll number 7 and 10, because these two questions especially will help me to know what you are really looking for and what are the challenges you are facing in the field of data science and business analytics, so that in the longer run I could help you with these challenges at least. So I can wait for a minute as well. I'm not going to end the poll, but I just want to see like how what the statistics look like. So I'm going to wait for a minute, and after then we'll start with the session. Great. So like let this poll be open. Like whosoever will be joining, like will be seeing the poll actually, right? So make sure you just opt for the correct options, and meanwhile we can start with it. So let me share my screen, and so that we can start the session. Great. So I'm assuming that my screen is visible now, actually, right? So let's just start with the session actually for today. So I have already discussed about me, right? I've just given you a brief introduction about myself for now, right? And now what we're going to do is actually we're going to proceed ahead with that. So these were the questions which I've already written on the poll, right? So make sure you answer these questions very appropriately. Okay. So the agenda for the session would be I'm gonna cover like quite a few topics actually, because what I can clearly see in the poll, especially in the question number 10, you see I've written that okay, what aspects of data science job hunting are you most interested in? Whether it's just a resume and a cover letter preparation, whether it's building a strong portfolio, whether it's a networking strategy, whether it's interview preparation, and the last one is all of the above. So I can see that majority of you guys have selected all of the above, right? So I'm going to cover all the sections over here in the slide, or you could say in the PPT. And whatever questions you have, just feel free to shoot me by unmuting yourself or just putting up in the chat. Okay. So the agenda for today is we're gonna see that okay, how to craft compelling cover letters, because what I really feel is it's not just resume. Your cover letter also matters the most, whether you have been applying in India or abroad. Especially abroad, you need to have a a cover letter for sure. Then we'll be seeing how to power up your resume, right? Then we'll be seeing ignite your portfolio, like showcase your data science prowess to others, right? Then networking is very important. So how to network like a pro, unlock those two opportunities with respect to data science and business analytics. And then we'll be seeing a brief about how to ace your data science job conversations, whether you are converting or whether you are having a conversation with anyone or whether you are you know uh, in an interview for a data science job. Okay. So these would be the agenda for today's session, like cover letters. We'll talk about cover letters, resume, portfolios, networking, and data science job conversations. Okay. So let me proceed ahead with the very first thing, which is crafting compelling cover letters. What I really feel that cover letter very important actually. Yes, see, I can see that like resume is important, obviously, but your cover letter is also very important. Doesn't matter whether you are applying here or basically abroad, actually. Especially when you reach someone over LinkedIn, it's always recommended to basically put up your resume with a short message, right, along with your cover letter as well, right? That looks more professional rather than just sending out your resume. So I always recommend my mentees basically to put up a cover letter as well along with your resume and a short message to address that particular individual, let's say over LinkedIn or even via cold emailing. Okay. So the very first thing over here is that you need to address the hiring manager directly and avoid using generic greetings. So what do I really mean by this actually? That if I talk about the first thing, which is addressing your hiring manager directly, what really happens is that you need to address your data scientist cover letter to the hiring manager or the person, whether let's say he or she would be an HR as well, who have posted the job advertisement. Okay. So this will indicate that you have a personal interest in the company, right? It shouldn't be like that, okay, to whomsoever and all these things, right? You should clearly mention the name because you can clearly say that, okay, whosoever has posted the job ad or advertisement, right? So you can clearly mention the name over here, right? It feels like a direct connect as well to that particular individual when he or she would be seeing your cover letter. Okay, first. So you need to address the hiring manager directly, right? The second one is avoid using generic greetings. So what really happens is that we have been in this things, right? That okay, we always write that okay, to whom it may concern, as I've mentioned before. So it's no longer considered professional at all, actually, right? So it is better to find out the name of the addressee, as I've mentioned before as well, and use an appropriate title before the name, right? Such as Mr. or Miss or Doctor, for example, let's say, right? So you should always check out the name of the addressee with an appropriate title and address that particular individual directly, rather than just saying hello or to whomsoever it may concern, right? And all these things. So avoid these two things firstly, okay, to start with your cover letter. If I talk about the second thing, I clearly mentioned over here that make your intentions clear and highlight your strength. Out of which this 2.1 point, which is make your intentions clear, is very, very, very important. Because sometimes what people do when basically what really happens is that I have seen it in, with myself as well, that whenever someone reaches out to me for a job referral or anything like that, you know, they are good with anything, whether it's a data analyst profile, whether it's a business analyst profile, whether it's a data scientist profile, right? Or anything actually, right? So it shouldn't be the case. You should be very clear with what you really want. If you want to become or basically if you want to become a business analyst, then clearly mention business analyst. If you want to become a data analyst, then clearly mention data analyst. If you want to become a data scientist, then clearly mention data scientist. Okay, so don't be like, okay, I'm good with anything, whether it's a BA or a DA or a DS job. Don't do like this. Make your intentions like very clear with what you really want actually, right? So you need to tell the person that basically why you are writing and what position you are applying for clearly actually. Okay, so you can use a statement or two in order to state clearly that you feel your knowledge and your experience, right, and your confidence makes you the best person for the position. That is first thing. Secondly, as I've mentioned, that highlight your strengths actually. So you should always highlight your strengths, not your weaknesses actually. Okay, so highlight your strongest attributes here. Whatever attributes you hold in yourself, just write it out. Simple, right? You might want to mention your excellent analytic skills. You might want to mention your excellent communication skills or soft skills, right? Because both of these things play a major role in grabbing a job. It's not just your analytical skills will basically, grab a job, or neither your soft skills alone. It should be a combination of both. Because what I really feel is that if you have the knowledge, then you should have the skills to speak it out and basically, tell the other individual that you have the knowledge. You need to know how to convey. That's why storytelling is very important. Soft skills are very important. Communication plays a major role, and at the same time, your confidence as well, right? So make your intentions clear with what you really want in your life, and with what you really want from the other person and from his or her organization in which he or she is working for. Secondly, highlight your strengths, not your weaknesses at all. Okay. Thirdly, if you see that I have said they could list your qualifications first and discuss your. So you should group chronologically actually always. It shouldn't be like that, okay, in the first paragraph you have written your employment history, and in the second paragraph you are going with your qualifications, right? Always go in a very chronological order, right? Always mention your qualifications first regarding what you have really done in your life, right? And after then, what you should do is that basically then discuss your employment history, right? So what I really want over here as well, firstly, you should list your qualifications, that write a few sentences on your qualifications, like only mentioning those that pertain to the job you are applying for first. Secondly, the thing is you need to discuss your employment history. Now, what do I really mean by your employment history? It clearly means that you need to mention how many years of experience you have worked as a data scientist, let's say, or as a business analyst, or as a data analyst, let's say, right? Then bring attention to your resume and your cover letter, right? Like, we have basically we have been writing cover letter only, right? So then bring attention to your resume or your CV, right? And discuss those skills you have that match the requirements or the prerequisites listed in the job advertisements. Okay, these may include, let's say, any of the ML techniques or any programming experience or any dashboarding experience, right? Using any of the data visualization tools, right? Statistics, because what I really feel that it's not very important to just know the algorithm. It's, and basically how to do it in Python or in R. What I really feel that you should know the maths behind it. You should know the statistics behind it. So what I really feel that, okay, mathematics is also very important. Statistics is also very important. Knowing the concept is very important, because once you will, basically sit an interview, the interviewer, won't ask you that, okay, like write a linear regression code in front of me. He or she will directly ask you the statistics behind it and the concept behind it, and the questions will be related to the statistics and the concept behind a particular algorithm, let's say, right? So list your qualifications first and then discuss your employment history. Okay. The fourth thing is expand on your current or on your previous role actually, and then highlight your roles and responsibilities as well. Okay. So what do I really mean by expand on your current or your previous role? So just few sentences, basically you can unpack your basically current, let's say, or previous role in case you have already left the job, right? And how it has prepared you, right? How it has prepared you basically for the job you have basically you are applying for. Okay, so expand on your current or your previous role. Secondly, you need to highlight your responsibilities as well, because for the interviewer, it's very important to know what were your roles and responsibilities in your previous organization, or let's say in the current organization in case you are working. Okay, so when you discuss about your current or your previous role, what you should do is highlight your key responsibilities, highlight your key roles and requirements that correspond to the job you are already applying for, right? And okay, so these may include basically, let's say, preparing dashboards or basically, let's say, data visualization, or it may be, exploratory data analysis, or it may be, model deployment, model building, anything related to data science. So whatever you have done in your day-to-day life, in your current job or on your previous job, you should list it afterwards. Okay. After then, the thing is, you need to tell them why you want to work for that particular organization, right? And then you should state how you will add value. These are the two things which are very important. So mention just two or three statements regarding, what all do you know about the company, what all do you know about the team in which you are applying, and what all do you know about the position into which you are applying. Simple. And after then, you should also tell them that, okay, what will make you stand apart from the others, right? What will make you add value to the particular role? How will you add value, right, to the particular role? So just mention, for example, your excellent communication skills, your analytical skills, understanding of, let's say, any of the data querying languages, understanding of, let's say, any of the programming languages, and all these things, right? So you need to tell them why you want to work there, and then you should state how you will add value. Okay. The last point is basically provide an opportunity for feedback. So what I really say that, okay, say that you have attached your resume along with your cover letter, right? So you can also basically tell the, the interviewer or the person who is reading that, okay, feel free to reach out to me, simple, on this contact number, or I have my email ID mentioned in my resume. Just write a simple line in the end, and then close your letter with the help of, any of the remarks, for example, bests, or you could say best regards, with your name mentioned at the bottom, or anything like that, right? So all these points are very important in basically crafting a compelling cover letter for any job. As of now, we are talking about, job related to data science, but for any job, these things are very important. Okay. uh, and one more thing, actually, the cover letter shouldn't be of more than one page. It should be of one page, that's it. Okay, not more than that. Okay, let me be very clear with you. Okay. So I guess we have already covered that, okay, how to craft a compelling cover letter. In case you have any questions till now, so just feel free to basically ask me. Any questions you guys have for me as of now? You can just write it in the chat, or if you want that, basically, you can just unmute yourself and ask me questions. Any questions you guys have for now? No questions for now?
Hi, Shubham.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Actually, I want to know about how to be prepared also on the data analyst role, and we should focus for the in our resume.
Yeah. That I'll tell you. Yeah, that I'll tell you in the upcoming slides. So don't worry about that. Any questions you have regarding the draft, or regarding the cover letter or the importance of cover letter, then feel free to ask for that. Ravi, were you asking something?
Yes, actually, I'm
Yeah.
asking related to an experience
Sorry,
related
I'm
to
not getting you.
the data analytics. Hello.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm asking related to experience. Actually, I don't have any experience related to data analytics because I'm fresher right now. So what can I do for the data analytics profile?
Basically, I'm gonna cover it in the next slides, so don't worry about that. Right? Don't worry
Yes,
about
yes.
that.
That's why
Because
I'm
yes,
sad.
yes. Or what?
Yes.
Or
Okay.
yes. Or what you can do is, like, basically you can just book a trial session as well of let's say 30 minutes, in which we can discuss more about it. That would be great as well, because since here we have a limited time. So I would request you to do that, but I would definitely answer your question for sure. That's what I can
Is it
guarantee.
mandatory for
Okay.
the freshers cover letter?
Yeah, cover letter is very important. That's what I really feel. Absolutely important. Whether you are applying to India, whether you are reaching out to a individual over LinkedIn, or applying abroad, cover letter is very important. Yes, we should have this habit of always writing a cover letter along with your resume. Okay,
Okay.
cool. So basically, let's just proceed ahead now. Okay, let me again share my screen, right? And let me know once you can see that. Yeah, so I'm assuming that my screen is visible now. Okay, great. So now the question comes how to power up your resume, right? Because obviously, along with the cover letter, your resume speaks. Your CV should speak a lot. Okay. So the very first thing which you should know is keep data science resume to a page or less. What do I really mean by this? Is basically any of the interviewer or any hiring manager don't have much time. Why? Because those guys receive hundreds of resumes. Like, because for example, let's say if I'm hiring for something as I'm a manager, right? I receive hundreds of resumes, right? It's not, possible for me to spend, you know, quite a few minutes on just a single resume, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for some eye-catchy phrases. I'm going to look for some keywords. I'm going to directly have a look at the experience. That's it. So not more than 20 to 30 seconds I have on a particular resume, right? To check and see whether this person is qualified for the role or not. Okay. Sometimes what really happens is that a person is qualified for the role, but since he or she has written more than a page resume, right? Sometimes uh, so basically what really happens is the probability of basically getting him selected or to shortlist is very less, right? Because he has written a long resume. So you should always keep your resume to a page or less until unless you don't have quite a few years of years of experience, whether it's a 5 year experience or 10 years experience. You should always like write your resume in a page or less. That is first thing. Secondly, what you should do is you should customize your resume, because customizing your resume is very important. You can't just have one resume and apply to several jobs at once, because each and every job has a different requirement, has a different prerequisite, has a different set of keywords which they look for, right? So always customize your resume. That is what I'm trying to say, right? Don't just have one resume and apply for hundreds of jobs, right? Have yours, have separate resumes, right? That you will learn eventually, once you will get to apply different jobs. So you must be seeing that, okay, the requirements are different, the prerequisites are different, the years experience are different, the skills which they really want is different. Maybe they want you to be very good in NLP, right? And you are good in, let's say, ML, or let's say classical machine learning, but you have also done a little bit of work on NLP. So mention that, right? So mold your resume accordingly, right? And always mention the keywords, always mention some eye-catchy phrases, right? All these things are very important in order to attract the interviewers or the hiring manager's attention, or whosoever is reading your resume. That is first thing. Thirdly, you need to choose your templates very wisely. Okay. Choosing a template is very important. So, for example, let's say if you're applying to companies, okay, with a more traditional feel, for example, TCS, or maybe let's say Infosys, or maybe let's say Dell, HP, IBMs, right? So, you should try for a classic, or you could say a very subdued style of resume, right? Whereas basically, if you're applying for, let's say, a very good product based companies, let's say, or let's say any of the bank companies, for example, Google, Meta, Pinterest, etc., right? Where they have, kind of a creative vibe. So what you can do is you can choose a template or create a resume with more flair, actually, with a little more flair. So you need to choose your template very wisely according to the kind of company you are applying into, whether it's a startup, whether it's a product based company, whether it's any of the bank companies, right? After then, I've seen that you can curate your contact info, right? What do I really mean by that, right? So you don't want a recruiter or the hiring manager or the interviewer, basically, right, to search through the whole resume, basically to figure out how to get in touch with you, right? So make it easy for them, right? Simplify your address to just the city and the state. Don't mention the entire address along with the pin code and the flat number, building, society, and all these things. Just mention the city and the state, firstly. Secondly, list a good working phone number and a professional looking email address, right? The email address especially plays a major role, right? So mention a very professional looking email address. Basically, don't write that email address which you have made when you were in school, right? Don't do that just to opt in for Facebook or anything like that. Okay, so have a very professional looking email address. Thirdly is include your personalized LinkedIn URL, because LinkedIn is everything nowadays, right? If I talk about a professional thing, right? You should have your LinkedIn profile updated. Each and everything should be updated along with your picture as well, right? In case you are looking for a job specially, right? So always have a DP in case you are looking for a job specially. Okay. First, after then, add a GitHub link or any personal portfolio link actually, right? To your profile actually, right, with your contact information, and make it clickable, because sometimes what really happens is that he or she might not really go with your projects, right, whatever you have written over here in the form of points. He or she might directly click onto that, and by herself or himself he'll check that, okay, what you have done in that personal portfolio thing. So make sure that link is clickable. On what? On your LinkedIn profile first, and on your personal portfolio or any of your GitHub profiles. So make that link clickable actually, right? So that's what your curate your contact info is all about. After then, you should also include your data science projects and basically publications. In case you have done a publication, it's fine. In case you haven't, it is also fine. Because what really happens is that if you want to go into a research-based role, then publications play a very major role. Always having publications is like a cherry on the cake, but you know publications are very important, especially for those roles which are research based, firstly, right? Secondly, you should mention your data science projects, right? Mentioning your data science projects is very important. Showcase your relevant projects. Don't put a project such as that iris flower classification or Titanic data set, right? Bank loan customer churn prediction. Don't put up such projects. I mean, see, these projects are good to as dummies actually. Okay, these projects are good basically while working or while practicing, right? But don't put such projects on the resume. It won't add any value to your profile, to be very honest with you, right? So what you can do is that work on such dummy projects, gather information, and then do something creative on your own, right, by taking any of the data sets in the world. Okay, but don't take these kind of data sets, for example, Titanic, iris, anything like that. They won't add any value to your resume actually. It will only help you to practice your skills, but don't add it in your resume. Okay, then detail your relevant work experience, right? But the thing is, you should always have that work experience as well. Doesn't matter whether whether it's relevant or not. What do I really mean by that? For example, let's say if you are from a commerce background, or let's say if you're from an arts background, or let's say if you are any of the engineering background other than computer science, and you're applying for a data science job or a BA job or a DA job, right? Right, so you should always list out your experience, first, right? Don't. So because see, this is the mistake which I did as well in my previous years while applying for the job, right? When I was studying, that I didn't used to mention my BA experience. What I really felt that, okay, since I'm applying for a data science job, it has nothing to do with BA, as my knowledge was quite less that time. 5 years back I'm talking about. Okay, so mention whatever experience you had, whatever experience you have, right, in the in your resume, whether it's related or not related to the job you're applying for. Sometimes companies just want experience. They don't want a relevant work experience. I mean, obviously, if you have a relevant work experience, it's like a cherry on the cake. The more the merrier, right? But always mention your work experience. Doesn't matter whether it's related to the data science job which you're applying for or not. Okay. So always mention your details about your relevant work experience of the entire work experience that we're just talking about. Why I have written relevant? Because since we all apply for data scientists, right, that's why we should write that. But you should basically include each and every work experience of yours. Okay. After then, list your education. This is also one of the mistakes I did before. So what I really did, basically, I did my bachelor's in technology and computer science, bachelor's of technology and computer science. But once I got done with the masters, I thought that, okay, what's the point of writing BTech in my in my resume or my CV? So whomsoever I used to approach on LinkedIn, they used to say, or they used to ask one simple thing: okay, from where did you do your graduation? Did you do your graduation or not? Right? So always mention your graduation. Doesn't matter whether you have done your masters or not. Okay, always mention it. Right? So list your complete education details, starting from the BTech, let's say, starting from your graduation details till the latest qualification you have. Okay, so list out your entire education. Okay, after then, add skills and extras. Add skills and extras simply means that, okay, highlight your skills, highlight your strong attributes, highlight what what you really have in yourself with respect to that particular job. And I guess extra is also very important. Extra simply means that, okay, if you are good in public speaking, if you are an orator or anything like that, if you have any of the extracurricular activities or hobbies into which you are good at, always write that, because soft skills are very important, not just your analytical or your technical skills. Okay. And after then, the last point would be that polishing with finishing touches. What do I really mean by that? The one thing which you should always keep in mind, that don't do any spelling mistakes. Grammatically it should be completely perfect, because like, it doesn't look really good and it doesn't look professional as well if you are doing any of the spelling mistakes and if you are grammatically not correct. Okay, so always look out your resume at once, right from the top till the very bottom, and check whether you have done any grammatical mistake, any spelling mistake or not. If yes, then correct it, and if not, then just go for it. So make sure that no grammatical mistakes are there and no spelling mistakes are there. Okay, so I think these points are very important, and these points I have personally experienced myself, when I was a student, right, that I did these kind of mistakes. So now I want my mentees to not do these mistakes actually, right? That would be, very important for you guys. Okay. So I guess these are the few points that are very important for you guys in order to power up your resume. Okay. So if you have any questions so far regarding, how to build up your resume or any of these points, then just, feel free to ask me right now. Any questions you guys have with respect to this? Okay. What does Avinash says? I have always faced difficulty in structuring the objective part in resume. Can you discuss about it as well? Obviously, yes. See, what really happens is, what sometimes people do is that, okay, they just go on Google and they write that, okay, give me a brief objective regarding a data science job. You will see hundreds of objectives over there. You just pick one and just, just copy paste over there, right? That's not how it should be, right? That's why I said that, okay, you should know what your skills are. You should be very confident in yourself about what you know and how you can convey it to the other individual, and what your personality is about and how you can add value, how you really are as a professional, right? If you really know about all these things, right, about yourself, then it would be very easy for you to write a objective, right, rather than just Googling it. So don't do that. You should know yourself that, okay, how you can add value, what professional things or qualities you have in yourself in order to, basically benefit the particular role you are looking for, benefit the team, and benefit the organization as a whole, because it's all collaborative in the end, right? So in order to answer your question, Avinash, you should also, so as I mentioned, you should know what you are as a professional, what qualities do you have as a professional, and write it accordingly. Okay, just don't go over Google and copy paste one of the 3 to 4 line sentences. Don't do that. Okay, so just know yourself. Just have confidence in yourself and your skills, how you can add value, and write it accordingly. Okay, so that's what I can tell you for now. Yeah, rest we can discuss in our trial session as well. That's completely fine. No issues with that. Okay, so that's about it. If you have any more questions, then just feel free to ask. So Avinash, is your doubt clear for now? Just a little, if like, are you there, by the way? Okay, great, perfect. First, we can discuss it. No issues. Great. Let me again share my screen. Uh, what all things are important now? Okay. So I'm again assuming that my screen is visible. Okay. So the ignite your portfolio, showcase your data science prowess to the to the interviewer, to the people around, or to the hiring manager, or anyone who's looking at your profile. You need to showcase your data science prowess, and it's not bad if you are marketing yourself. Marketing yourself is very important, especially over LinkedIn nowadays, to to be successful in your particular profession. Okay, so you need to ignite your portfolio. You need to showcase your data science prowess actually, and basically how you can do that, right? That is very important, how you can simply do that. Okay, right? So I guess these things are important. I have already told you about all these things, right? So if I talk about igniting your portfolio, so the very first thing is you need to be creative. What do I really mean by creative, right? By being creative, as I mentioned in the previous slides as well, that whatever you are writing, right, whatever you are writing, for example, let's say if you have done some dummy projects, don't write such projects which I mentioned before. because everyone writes it, everyone knows about it. It won't add any value to your resume. So be creative. As I mentioned before, that okay, you can practice, you can have those projects as dummy projects, get something out of those projects, learn something out of those projects, go through some Kaggle notebooks, right, on which people have done, right, learn something out of it, and then apply that knowledge on some other things. Okay, get a real world data set sometimes, or you could just scrap a data as well out of any website, right, anything like that. And then basically implement the skills which you have learned from the dummy projects onto those, and then write that thing on your resume. Don't simply write that, okay, I've built a classification model on Titanic data set, I've built a classification model on iris classification. It won't add anything to your resume, right? First thing. Secondly, you need to showcase a variety of skills. What do I mean by variety of skills? See, data science is not about model building and that's it. Data science is about, firstly, if you are basically handling a client, then you should understand the business. You should know the in and out of business, because if you don't know the business, then you won't be able to understand the business problem. Okay, if you can understand the business problem, then you should think of whether this business problem can be solved using data science or not, because it's not always necessary to apply a data science algorithm or a machine learning algorithm even after being a data scientist, and say that okay, I can solve this problem using data science. Not each and every problem requires data science. It could be solved with with very simple methods as well. Okay. After then, you need to have a very clear understanding of data, right? So exploratory data analysis plays a major role. Because why? Because nowadays what really happens is that businesses don't take decisions on the fly. They need to have some robust proof regarding why they are going for that decision. Okay. So by the help of exploratory data analysis skills, which we popularly call as EDA, you can understand the data, you can get some actionable insights to work upon. Okay, then you can show that okay, model building as well, programming languages as well. For example, Python and R are the most popular programming languages in the field of data science. Then you can tell them that okay, I can do some hyperparameter tuning as well, I can fine tune the model as well, right? Then I can deploy the model over server or the cloud, right? And so on and so forth, right? So you need to showcase a variety of skills, right? You need to know, basically you need to show that okay, you can understand the business, you can understand the business problem, you can understand the data. Because see, you have an input, you have a machine learning algorithm, and you have an output. If your input is correct, then the probability of getting a desired output is very much high. If your input is not correct, if you haven't prepared the data accordingly, right, or a very good data or a very perfect data, doesn't matter what algorithm you use, you can try it by yourself as well. You input a wrong data or that kind of data which is not up to the mark. Trust me on this when I say this. You can apply any of the deep learning algorithms. You can apply any of the reinforcement learning algorithms. You can apply any of the classical machine learning algorithms. Doesn't matter. You won't be getting the desired output for sure, right? So in a data science project lifecycle as well, right? Majority of the time goes into preparing the data correctly. Because if you have the data correct, if you have the input correct, then you will be getting the desired output. There's a high probability that you will be getting the desired output without hyperparameter tuning or fine tuning the model. Okay, so you need to show a variety of skills ranging from understanding the business problem, understanding the data, what you can do with the data, what insights can you do with the data. All these things you should know, model building, deployment, and all these things. Okay, at least you should know some basic things if you're a fresher, right? But you should have an idea about all these things. Okay, they don't ask for ask much to a fresher, right? But if you have all these skills, then obviously the more the merrier, and it creates a positive impact on the interviewer or on the hiring manager, and especially on your resume and your probability of getting shortlisted for the job, okay, or getting selected for the job in the end. Then you need to share your code. What do I really mean by sharing a code? Sharing a code simply means that you should have a GitHub profile, right, on which you can upload code for each project there, right? So make sure your codes are clean, very much commented, right, to each and every section, so they are easy to read actually. And also it's always good to have all your work which you have done in your past in just one place, so that you can just upload a single link to your resume for potential employers to review, right? And then write blog posts actually. Blog posts are also very important actually, because what really happens is that for almost every project you have created, write a blog post about it. We always start from small only, right? So share these articles on LinkedIn, add them to your resume, right? Because potential employers, what they do is that, okay, they don't always have time actually to reach a bunch of code sitting in your GitHub repository. Okay, so if you write about your projects and explain the steps in a very short, simple, and crisp manner, right, to create them, right, hiring managers can easily skim through your articles, okay, to get the kind of work or the gist of the work you have done, right? Okay, so all these things are very important. That be creative, showcase a variety of skills, share your code, write blog posts, all these things. After then, the question comes networking. Networking plays a major role nowadays. You can clearly see it on LinkedIn. In case you're active on LinkedIn, right? Networking plays a major role. It unlocks your doors to more opportunities with respect to any field you are looking for, whether it's a BA or a DA or a DS, anything. Okay. So firstly, you need to attend industry events. Attending it, attending industry events is very important. Whatever events are happening which are related to your field, you should always attend basically, those events for sure. So attending industry events is very, very, very important. Secondly, engage with online communities. There are so many communities which are present nowadays. Okay, so you should always engage with online communities, whether it's on Slack, whether it's on Telegram, whether it's on Discord, whether it's on any other social media platform. If there is an online community related to your field, then you should always leverage it. Thirdly, leverage alumni and connections. Reach out to your alumni, connect to your alumni, right? Connect to your connections, leverage your connections actually, right? You should know how to reach out to an alumni or any of the concerned individual. It's not like that, okay, you just put up a message that, hey, I'm looking for a job. Can you help me out with it? Right? Not like that. You should have a proper template regarding what to write on a LinkedIn message in case you're basically reaching out to someone for a referral or for a job, right? So I can basically provide you guys a template for that, right? So no issues with that. But that template is very important for you guys to basically just put up a message, right? Or just put up a connection message as well, right? To your alumni connections or whosoever the concerned person is. After then, offer to mentor others. What do I really mean by mentor over here? Mentoring is all about adding value to others' life. That's what it is. If I am a mentor and you are mentees, right? I would love to basically, add value to your professional life, right? And in this, in the return, I would be getting to learn a lot from you guys as well. So offer to mentor others, offer to value others, right? Just, find out an opportunity or just look out for, something, which could help the other person. Okay. So offer to value others, and then watch information interviews. I mean, there are many interviews related to data science and all these things which are very important for you guys to see and understand, what and how a DS interview basically looks like. That's how it is. Because see, for a data science job, you need to be very good with statistics. Firstly, you need to be very good with any of the, not very good in fact, but you need to have a basic knowledge, at least if you're a fresher, regarding statistics. You need to have a good knowledge about statistics, because statistics plays a major role, right? Secondly, dashboarding, whether it's on Power BI, Tableau, or Excel, right? You need to know any of the programming language, whether it's Python or R. And one more thing I would say, doesn't matter if you are good with Python or R, if you are good with machine learning models, right? If you are good with dashboarding, it's always very important to be good at these things. But the bread and butter of data science is Excel and SQL, because each and every person would expect you to have a knowledge of Excel and SQL without even saying anything. Okay, so it's always good to know machine learning, it's always good to know Python, it's always good to know dashboarding. Yes, it's very important, but at the same time you should be very good, and you are expected only to know SQL, which is a structured query language, and Excel. Because still, you know since we are like very much ahead, right, still Excel, MS Excel, and SQL plays a major role. So it's like a bread and butter of data science and analytics. So you should know lookups, you should know formulas and all these things in Excel. And with respect to SQL, you should know window functions, you should know queries inside queries, subqueries, views, common table expressions, CTEs, and all these things. So at least a medium level SQL you should know, right? And a medium level Excel also you should know, right? But Excel and SQL you should definitely know, right? Because the other person would expect you. And I realized it in my second job that Excel is very important. About SQL, I knew about it in my first job when I worked in a startup. But about Excel, I realized it in my second job while working at Dunhamby that how much Excel is important. Right? That's how it is. After then, is your data science conversations. Firstly, is you should know your data science skills, that what skills you have. You should be very confident about your skills. Okay, this is first thing. Secondly, research about the company, because whenever you will appear for the interview, the other person will always ask that, okay, tell me what you know about the company. This is a very common question which people ask, right? Because it happened with me as well initially, that when I was applying for my second job, when I had a year experience, I missed out on this, right? And which created a very negative impact on my interview. That's why. So always research about the company, right? First thing, to the core, to the deep. Always connect with people who are working on, in that or in that organization. Indirectly, ask them that, okay, how does your team look like? What do they really do? What kind of job role you have, right? And all these things. So research about the company and the work they have been doing and the previous work they have done. Prepare for technical questions. As I mentioned, that you should be very well versed with the technical questions. If you have done a project, you should know in and out of the project. For example, if you have done a classification model, then you should know what classification models you have applied, what is the maths and the logic behind it, why have you selected only one, the accuracy matrices, for example, confusion matrix, true positives, true negatives, false negatives, F1 accuracy, precision, recall, all these things, and what impact your project created on your business. Because in the end, if your project has added value, if your work has added value to the business, then it's then it's a cherry on the cake. So you should always write that, okay, what impact your project has created. For example, by your classification model, right, the churning rate has reduced to 5% from 10%. That is a major impact. So write these things accordingly. Prepare statistics, right? All these things. Prepare SQL, prepare Excel, right? All these things are very important, because in a technical interview, all these things will be asked to you, right? Think as a business person. If you are owning a business and if you want to solve this business problem, what all things you look out for. This is main thing. After then, highlight your projects and portfolio. I've clearly mentioned very clearly, right? Communicate clearly. Don't go here and there. Just say that, right? Right. So communicate very clearly what you really want and what you really know about. Otherwise, say that, okay, there is no harm in saying that, okay, I don't know about this, to be very honest. Okay. So communicate clearly. Don't go here and there. Just be at the point. After then, showcase your problem solving approach and ask questions, because sometimes case study rounds are there. They don't want you to have the correct answer. Trust me, they don't want you to have the correct answer. They just want to know the way you are thinking and what is your approach, right? So showcase your problem solving approach and ask the right questions. There is no harm in asking the same question twice just to be double sure, but ask the right questions. And they don't want you to come to the correct answer or to the correct conclusion. They just want to see how you think and what approach are you having, right, regarding this solving of problem. And ask them whether, okay, I'm going in the right direction or not, and discuss about the approach you have it in mind in order to solve a problem, especially during case studies. Okay. Discuss your collaborative skills. See, it doesn't matter if you have the only one worked on the project, because if you are working in a team, there would be someone or the other who would have contributed even 1%, to your project. So always discuss your collaborative skills. Be collaborative, right? Following up is very important, right? In a very proper manner with gratitude. Always follow up, okay, in a very proper manner, whether it's to the HR or the hiring manager and anything like that, but always follow up. Okay. Then emphasize your continuous learning. See, we always learn from mistakes. I have given ample amount of interviews, right? What I really do is that whatever the questions people ask, I have those in my mind. After I get done with my interview, I write those, work on those, prepare those questions for the next interview. That's how you become, like very much perfect. Because if someone is discussing or if someone is asking questions to you on a particular projects, it may be the case that okay, you don't you can't really answer one or two questions, right? So write down those questions in the end, work on those questions which would help you when you will interview, right, for the again for the any other organization, because it is a possibility that the other person might ask the same question in a different manner, right? So it's all about basically giving interviews, learning from your mistakes, writing down your mistakes, writing down the questions, writing down the weak areas, work upon that, and go with making them strong in the next interviews. That's how you will be able to crack, because that's what I always do as of now as well. Okay, so it's all about learning, learning, learning. That's it. Okay, so I guess these were the few points which would help you definitely in the data science conversations for sure. Okay, how I can help you out with a long-term membership, as I mentioned, my personal experiences as well to you, that what mistakes I have done and what mistakes I don't want you to do, right? So I'll understand your needs and problems accordingly, right? I'm gonna tell you what mistakes I have done. I would be able to relate, what you have been thinking once because I felt the same when I was a fresher, right? Or when I was a student, right? So I'm gonna identify the skill gaps and we'll work upon it accordingly, right? We can define a timeline as well, because a proper roadmap is very important, right? That's what I have followed as well in my life while preparing for interviews, right? Upskill and evaluate. I can teach a certain topic to you, whether it's related to whether it's related to statistics. It's as simple as a z-score or a t-test, anything like that, right? Resources for concept clarity, I have my notes as well, which I can share with you so that it would help you guys to understand better, right? Or to prepare better. Projects and hands-on support with whatever you have been doing. Regular evaluation, I can take some mock interviews as well. I can tell you some questions which could be asked during a particular project. Then I can review your resume as well. Constant interaction would be there, such as timely follow-ups, calls, support, and all these stuffs. Other than this, I have many friends. Obviously, I have worked in quite a few companies, right? I have cracked several product-based companies as well, right? So I can give you assistant in job referrals, right? Salary negotiations, because I have been doing it as well, right? For my mentees, for my existing mentees, right? And assistance in applying for jobs. Okay. So that's what your, our one-to-one long-term membership, mentorship at Replaced would look like. Okay. I guess, yeah, that's it for the session. In case you have any questions right now you're feel free to ask and I would be happy to answer. Any questions you guys have, or shall I go one by one? Yes, I can discuss about it actually, yes, for sure. Because see, like, as I mentioned, right, that there are separate templates given to you. Okay, so it's not like that, okay, one template is correct and one template is not correct. It kind of depends on what kind of company you have been applying for, whether it's a product based company, whether it's a very traditional company such as TCS, Infosys, and all that stuff, whether it's a creative startups, for example, and if, for example, let's say Fractal or anything like that. So like accordingly, as I mentioned before as well, that there is no one perfect resume which you should have, right, for all the jobs. If so basically if you have 10 different jobs in front of you, it may possible that few of them might be same, but you would find at least a two or three which are different from the others. So you should always delete sections, add sections according to what the job really wants. But you should not lie on your resume. Never do that, because like I have got few individuals as well lying on resume. So never do that. Never ever lie, right? Just clearly mention what you have done, and so that if anyone answers, so that if anyone questions you, you should know the in and out. It's as simple as that, right? Okay. So sections could be added, right, more, or it could be deleted as well, right? So it depends on the kind of job you have been applying, the kind of company you have been applying, right? But I mean, like the sequence more or less remains the same sometimes. Okay, that's we can discuss in the trial session as well, Avinash. Any more questions anyone has? Like, did you get the being a fresher, is it worth applying for? See, you should always apply. You should at least apply. I used to do the same, to very honest. Okay, because see, when I was a fresher, when I was a student, right, right, when I just completed my degree, I applied for Amazon, but I got it. even though it required more than 2 years of experience. Okay, and I got the call. So you should always, don't apply for, let's say, more than 5 years or 10 years, obviously. But if someone is asking, for example, let's say 2 to 4 or 0 to 2, you can apply for that. No issues with that. 2 to 4 is still fine for that. Yes. So being a fresher, don't hesitate in applying when someone is asking that, okay, you should have at least 1 year of experience, or 1 to 3 years, 2 to 4. Always apply for that. I have done that, and basically I have got calls. So like, why can't you? Simple. Like, are you clear, Animesh or Avinash? Great. I mean, I can literally help you out with that. Don't worry about that, right? So don't worry about that. So as I've said, right, whatever I have done in my life, whatever mistakes I have done till now, I don't want my mentees to go through the same. That's how it is. Okay. Sai, are you there, by the way? Hi, Sai. Are you on mute?
Yes, Shubham, Sarthak here.
Okay. Hi, Sarthak. Yeah. So like, I guess, do we have any more questions, or we
No,
can
I think
just?
we are good to conclude.
Okay. Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Thanks everyone for joining in, and thank you, Shubham, for taking such a wonderful session. Everybody, we have shared Shubham's pre-placed public profile link in the chat. You can just go ahead and book a 30-minute free trial session and discuss whatever career goals or challenges you are facing right now, and understand how Shubham can help you to get into your target role, target company. Okay,
Definitely. Sure.
great.
Looking forward to that.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Bye bye. Have a nice day. It was nice interacting with you. Looking forward for such more interactions.